This is a well-known series at this point, but Oshi no Ko is a returning nominee for this year's 15th annual Manga Taisho Awards. It definitely had more time to get more developed. I would say their world, but their world is pretty much ours. The beginning premise kind of throws that off, but is almost entirely irrelevant. At first, we follow a doctor who is a huge idol otaku. He became like that when one of his patients, a little girl, shared her love of idols with him. She passes away, leaving him with his idol love. One day, his Oshi, that is his best girl, Oshi no Ai, comes in and she's pregnant. This is a huge scandal for an idol. They're supposed to love everyone equally. To be seen with a man in private is scandalous, let alone getting pregnant. If the fans found out, there'd be hell to pay, and it just so happens someone found out. He followed Ai to this hospital and kills the doctor. But not really, because the doctor wakes up as one of Ai's twin babies, Aqua. Not only that, but his sister is the little girl who died at the beginning, who is now named Ruby. They know they were reborn, but don't reveal anything to each other about their past, so they don't know they knew each other. Maybe they will eventually, still hasn't happened though. They use this as an advantage early on, freaking people out or being unusually smart for their age. As they get older, they start to get into showbiz. For Aqua, it wasn't for the most kosher of reasons. This is where things get interesting, because it explores different kinds of media and the hidden aspects that aren't front-facing. It has what I think are realistic viewpoints of different aspects of entertainment, not that I know. Honestly, the most unrealistic part is Aqua's character. His entire goal is finding out who tipped off the guy who murdered him, who could only be the one who got Ai pregnant in the first place, that is, his father. He does different acting roles, following men who could have known Ai, collecting clues, and doing a lot of DNA tests. He gets so angsty as it goes on. While he's doing that, Ruby follows in Ai's footsteps and becomes an idol. She puts a lot of work into it and we don't really follow her much. The bigger focus is definitely Aqua's pursuits and the so-called dark side of entertainment. One of the first things they show is a recruiter trying to pick up Ai who claims she can't be an idol because she can't show love like an idol, it'd all just be faked. And the guy was like, "That's cool, do that." And she became a hit! Her fake love was her version of showing love, if that makes sense. I'm pretty sure 90% of idols do that anyways. It doesn't stop there though, we also get a view into movie production, stage plays, reality TV, YouTube. The reality TV one is neat for a couple reasons. The first being that it explores relationships in the entertainment business. They choose what to show the public and the positive and negatives of actually being in a relationship versus a fake relationship that's front-facing. It's a business after all. These things are done to get attention, get more traction, and more roles in the future. That's it. The second reason is that it delves into cancel culture. What it's like to be flamed by thousands of people on social media and how horrible it is for your mental health. This is a really big thing nowadays, and I can't begin to imagine the stress that causes. Most I've had is people think I'm wrong, and that's fine. It's definitely something most creators live in fear of, and what's worse is that she was being attacked for a misunderstanding where the public just didn't have the full story, but that's always the case, isn't it? The last thing I want to point out is two different arcs which covered the topic of adaptations. As we know, adaptations are always flawless. Nothing has ever gone wrong. Nope. Never. So it's very interesting seeing what input the author gets and how we get totally not terrible adaptations. It's sometimes hard for the author to step in, and when they do, like in the instance of the stage play adaptation they do, it can be quite disruptive. Not to mention, we often take for granted how much needs to change to make it acceptable in another medium. Overall, I'd definitely say this series is worth a read. It gives really cool insight and a bit of a compelling mystery story on top of that. There's some pretty funny moments, and it can definitely get quite dark and quite miserable, and that cover can be quite misleading, especially for those who don't like idols, but this is no mere Love Live or Idolmaster. This has definitely managed to stand out as its own beast, and with that extra year behind it now, I think it has a shot at winning the Taisho Award.